chat, what I have here is something a little different. I've done strange audio, but now I have images of cryptids. I have not seen a good chunk of these photos. I might have, actually, through just, years of looking at weird stuff on the internet and in books. But this pack was made by Finger. Yes, Finger. And I have education here. I'm going to read what these photographs are all about, as well as show them. And this just seemed like a natural extension of the strange voices and noises kind of thing, and the number stations. So, we're going to start with Bigfoot. And no, not the one riding the Loch Ness Monster. So this is arguably the most famous cryptid photo of all time, the Patterson-Gimlin footage of Bigfoot, originally shot on October 20th, 1967 in Northern California. Still remains one of the most fiercely debated pieces of media of all time. Those who believe in it say that the gait is too unnatural to be human, and that the costume of such high quality would be impossible to make at the time. On the other hand, critics point to the fact that the film's development history is unclear. It was shot on a Friday and developed immediately despite labs being closed over the weekend, and that Roger Patterson had a suspicious history with Bigfoot already, including a book he published with an illustration of a female Bigfoot very similar to the one he captured on camera. Regardless, it is undeniable that this footage is iconic. Personally, I've seen this photo a million times. You can't look at this pose and not recognize it at this point in time. I've watched some stuff on this on YouTube and otherwise about how this is a very elaborate monkey suit, but there are still people that believe this is real. And here's the footage stabilized. I mean, we've got some more Bigfoot stuff ahead, but my personal thing on Bigfoot, chat, and we've gone through this. I have an interest in paranormal and UFOs and aliens to a degree. I think it's fun to think about, but my rational brain can't help but kick in. When it comes to Bigfoot, I just see monkey costume. Also Chewbacca. These are the plaster casts created by Patterson and Gimlin after seeing the Bigfoot. They're approximately 14.5 inches long in length. Man. Imagine having your big feet immortalized, and that becomes your name. So, you got to imagine, though, Bigfoot is named Bigfoot. I mean, there's also, like, Satchmo and plenty of other names. Yes, the trumpet player. But I guess the footprints came first. Speaking of, tracks spotted by Eric Shipton during the 1951 expedition of Mount Everest, purported to be created by a Yeti. A Yeti?! The photograph was taken at over 20,000 feet above sea level. Possible explanation given is that it was created by a baby bear following and stepping in its mother's footprints. It's very interesting. I've never seen this photo. These photographs were enclosed in an anonymous letter sent to the police department of Sarasota, Florida back in 2000. The writer of the letter is an old lady who talks about how the apples she put on her porch kept getting stolen overnight. So, she took a camera into the woods and took these photos. She then rambles about an escaped orangutan and asks the police to capture it so they can put it back in the zoo. Wait, what? She rambles on about escaped orangutans and asks the police to capture it. Well, again, all I have here is this text, right? So, if I wanted to, say, oh, well, if that's the truth, I would need to, probably actually see the evidence. But, if there's an old lady worried about monkey, and this is the photo she hands in, I would be more worried about like this. This isn't monkey. This is demon. I don't like the thing, chat. I don't like it at all. It's a good costume if it's a costume. 1993 imprint created by Paul Freeman depicting Bigfoot's buttocks. Okay, you can't include a picture of Bigfoot's ass and have me take this serious. After following footprints in Dry Creek, Washington, he came across this on the edge of a creek where the Sasquatch apparently sat down and pondered the flowing water. Pondering the flowing water, huh? Buttocks imprint. This is an ape that Francois Deloy discovered in 1920 during an oil survey expedition in Venezuela. A pair of these apes attacked his crew's camp, and they shot at it, killing one. The dead ape was put on a box with a stick holding up its head, and then photographed. There are no apes in the New World, however, and once the picture was introduced to the public, it was quickly identified as a spider monkey. What? This looks like the salt monster from Star Trek, chat. Oh my god. This is a regular-ass monkey? Listen, chat. Spider monkey. Oh yeah, they're weird. Okay, they have some strange faces. But they don't ever get this big, though, I don't think. I guess there's a spider monkey for comparison. This spider monkey, if it is one, to me, looks like it bought drugs from the Bigfoot down the block, because that thing is messed up. Probably the oldest known photograph that is claimed to depict a Sasquatch, taken in 1894 in British Columbia, Canada. The creature in the photo was shot by a group of hunters who encountered it by their cabin. The history surrounding this photo is strange, with it being supposedly locked in a vault by the Hudson Bay Company, a fur company which acted as the de facto governor of that region at the time, until it was somehow recovered and published in a book in 1982. Yeah, that's kind of a creepy photo. Now, I know there's probably a lot of skeptical people watching this and thinking to themselves, monkey suit, monkey. Explanation. Probably. Doesn't mean this photo isn't fucking weird. And that is a weird photo. Just creepy. And again, the lower the quality of the photo, the creepier it is. Jesus Payan, an actor known for being on Breaking Bad. What? Claimed to have took these photos while camping in New Mexico. He was laying on his stomach and took these photos over his shoulder as the Sasquatch peered in his tent. Well, why would a Breaking Bad actor lie? Wait, who is this guy? Oh, chat, it's this dude. Who? Wait. It's one of Tuco's bodyguards, right? One of Tuco Salamanca's guys. That's the... Listen, I believe him. The trail camera was captured in 2007 in Pennsylvania's Allegheny National Forest. Okay. I mean, is that a Bigfoot? It's weird. Maybe it's a long-legged bear. You know, it's like a weird long-legged bear. I don't know. Another trail camera picture, this time from 2013 in Virginia. It was claimed to be a baby Bigfoot or a living ground sloth, but the general consensus is that it's just a bear with mange. What's mange? Bear mange. Oh, they're like emaciated. And they they lose fur and stuff. Okay. That's awful. And what do we got here? These are stills from a video taken in Bailey, Colorado in 2017 showing a Sasquatch looking into a house from outside. The windows were apparently 8 feet tall, and the creature stood there for a while until the man's wife scared it off by screaming. Interestingly, chimpanzees in Africa are also known for standing by windows and staring into houses for no reason at all. I think they want to watch TV. That would probably fuck me up. Let's say that this is a costume and it's a hoax. That's fine. It's the images are creepy. So good job. Whatever this is, monkey-wise or whatever, if I had a monkey looking in and I just saw it out of the corner of my eye, that would ruin windows for me. I'd be ruined. New fear unlocked. Monkey in window. Oh, this is a good one. Sea monsters, chat. So that's Bigfoot. Again, I'm very iffy about Bigfoot. And I think one of the reasons is that's probably one of the easier things to fake, in my opinion. I know there's like Squatch hunters. I've never been all that interested in Squatch hunting. Aliens are interesting to me, but Squatching, it just doesn't do it. Then again, I live in a city, so I don't think there would be a chance of a Squatch. But I think one of the reasons that the Squatch and the Bigfoot kind of thing is interesting, or at the very least captures people's imagination, is if you live in the woods, or you have a lot of property, or if, there's a lot of room in between houses, maybe there's bears, wild animals, you hear weird noises in the night, like a hyena or something, or a maybe not a hyena, like a mountain lion or a bobcat. And then you have this idea, what if it's like an 8-foot tall creature that, didn't evolve, just lurking, It's scary. It's a scary thought, and your imagination can get away with you. When I was a kid, aliens scared the fuck out of me. Well, I mean, I say didn't evolve, but like didn't become people. It's like the missing link or something. So here's this photo. This was one of those things that was interesting to me when I would watch like Unsolved Mysteries or like stuff on the Sci-Fi Channel, and they would show the Loch Ness Monster, and this would be the thing they showed. That said, this one, I have a little bit of information. There was like a debunker that basically put a little you can basically build that and then put it on like a motorized like submarine or a boat, and you can make it look like that. So to me that looks small. Like that, the scale of this creature looks very small in my opinion. The surgeon's photo from 1934 depicting the Loch Ness Monster, the name comes from the original photographer Robert Kenneth Wilson, who was a gynecologist. Okay, I didn't know that. It's very interesting. The photograph was purposely cropped to make it seem larger. In the full photo, it was obvious the monster was only 2 or 3 feet tall. It was debunked several times over the decades to be a bird, a piece of driftwood, and even a circus elephant's trunk. It was finally revealed that it was simply a group of friends playing a prank on the Daily Mail, with the monster really just being a toy submarine with putty on it. Wilson's role in the prank was to have the pictures developed and sent to the news, with his position as a doctor giving it more credibility. The toy itself was stepped on to prevent a police officer from seeing it, and still remains somewhere near in the Loch Ness today. Wow. This is Champy, a lake monster that is said to inhabit Lake Champlain in between New York and Vermont. This photo was taken in 1977 by Sandra Mancy, but her differing testimonies over the year cast doubt over its legitimacy. Mancy claimed to have lost the negative and forgotten the location where it was taken, preventing any further investigation into the sighting. The location of the photo was eventually discovered in the depth of the water. It turned out to be only around 10 feet deep. It is now believed to simply be a tree branch in the water. Ah, yeah. Well, once you see tree branch, you can't unsee tree branch. I've never seen some of these photos. Taken by Hugh Gray in 1933. This is the first photograph of the Loch Ness Monster and is responsible for putting it into the global spotlight. Once again, it has been claimed to be a log, a swimming dog, a swan, and all sorts of other things. But unlike the surgeon's photograph, we do not have an answer for what this actually is. It's like blurry, and the light seems to be like blurred off of it. Which, you know, what's interesting to me is the better cameras got, the less we see things like UFOs and monsters and stuff. And if we do, it's so easy to say that's fake, or that's a Photoshop, or that's like, it's kind of a catch-22. But the reason I think these photos endure and are interesting, and like, for example, a book that I had when I was younger, I would see stuff like this, and I was just like drawn to that book all the time, was because the photos looked like shit. And that your imagination fills in the blanks. The Peter O'Connor photograph was taken in 1960 at night while camping near the Loch Ness. It was also sent to the Daily Mail, and while it has not been confirmed as a hoax by its creator, investigations at the original site discovered the water there is very shallow and that the creature in the photo is likely just an overturned boat with a tree branch for a head. Again, can't unsee it. However, the bottom of that boat does look a little fleshy. I do like that this pack, the creator of this pack, was not afraid to point out the hoaxes and the bullshit, too. I think that's fun. This photo of a flipper was taken in 1972 by a state-of-the-art underwater camera at the time. For a period of time, this photo was so convincing that a scientific name was proposed. Nesceteris rhombopteryx, so that Nessie could be afforded protection by UK laws. Unfortunately, the unedited photos were later discovered, and it was revealed that the flipper was just airbrushed onto a photo of the muddy lake floor. Welp. What the fuck am I looking at? The Zoyo Maru carcass was trawled up by a Japanese fishing ship off the coast of New Zealand in 1977. While the corpse was dumped back into the water, more samples of its tissues were taken, and it fooled several scientists who believed it to be a surviving prehistoric plesiosaur. Tests of the tissues later that year, though, confirmed that the carcass was a basking shark. When these sharks decompose, the soft tissues that decay first cause the resulting flesh to resemble the shape of the plesiosaur. Chat, it's not looking good for sea monsters right now. Globsters are giant rotting masses of flesh that are sometimes washed up on the beach. While they are often identified to be the remains of dead whales or sharks, some are still unidentified. One example is Trunco, that washed up on the coast of South Africa in 1924. It was described to be covered in white fur and have long trunk on its face, and one witness said that it looked like a giant polar bear. There's also a report of it battling a pair of killer whales and dying, though that was likely made up for the news. Huh. Like, I wouldn't have even known what I was looking at here. That is a very, very strange image we're looking at right now. Observed off the coast of South Africa in 2007, this set of photographs claims to be of an undiscovered species. Approximately a foot long, it was seen by a boat observing dolphins and was reported to swim near the surface and periodically stick a trunk out of the water to scan its surroundings. After a long discussion on a cephalopod expert forum, a consensus was reached that it is a blanket octopus, but others are not satisfied by the answer and still believe it to be a new species. So what's interesting to me is that there's a cephalopod expert forum. That's what I've learned from this. But the ocean is definitely home to some weird fucking life. I mean, sea monsters or whatever aside. And there's a lot of sea monster legends, you know, and giant, like, kraken and stuff. Hey, this music works for that. You know, explorers would, like, have all the stories of that kind of thing. But discounting all of that, the deep ocean is some of the most fascinating shit. And I find that the life forms down there are alien enough, really. You don't even need to make up stories once you learn about that shit. Okay. This is a super eel. A large eel larva pulled up by the Swedish research vessel Dana in 1930. Strangely, while the specimen was 6 feet long, it still had the traits of a larval eel. Example in the middle for comparison. In the middle? I'm confused. Oh, I see the small one. It was estimated that an adult could be up to 50 feet long. The specimen is presumably still in storage at the Copenhagen University. It is still not known whether this is a larval eel with a hormonal problem, similarly seen in frog tadpoles which never grow up, or if it is truly an unknown species. In 2011, a chunk of meat washed up on the shore of the Grand Bahamas Island. The piece turned out to be part of an octopus, and while the tentacles were a bit off, there was still a piece of mantle and beak intact. The size of the living animal estimated from the beak would have been over 20 feet long. However, there are no octopuses this large in the Atlantic Ocean. I don't think this music is fitting. We need, like, subtly creepy. I mean, the Portal 2 soundtrack is pretty good for shit like this, but maybe not for every image. Anyway, sorry to keep this on the screen for longer than it needs to be. Jeez. This one is Cadborosaurus, or Caddy. It's said to inhabit the coast of British Columbia. In 1937, a group of dock workers extracted this carcass from the stomach of a sperm whale that was killed earlier. Approximately 10 feet long to the right of the carcass is the horse-like head that Caddy is known for. The body disappeared shortly after and is still unknown what it was. Oh, that's fucking weird. So Cadicarus, that's what happened. It became Cadicarus. It's kind of hard to make out what I'm looking at, but, geez. 10 feet long. These photos are stills of footage captured by an underwater robot belonging to the Shell Oil Company while it was scanning the ocean floor for oil deposits, of course. It shows a large unknown invertebrate, nicknamed Marvin, slowly floating through the water, estimated to be about 15 feet long. While we do not know the exact species, It resembles the colonial organisms known to inhabit the deep sea. I wonder what it's like to live as that creature. You just kind of like float around, get a name, and then just die. Just floating around. This is a sawtooth dolphin seen by river monster star Jeremy Wade on a trip to Brazil in 1993. He observed it from a fishing boat and told the locals about it, who assumed that he was drunk. The following year, he returned to the area and managed to capture these photographs. He also talked with a man who also saw the dolphin and who referred to it as a holodeira, the Portuguese word for saws. Wade offers the explanation that it was a normal dolphin before being injured by a boat propeller or an angry fisherman. Oh, okay. So this is, that kind of makes sense. Kind of sad if that's the truth, but that's also very interesting. On August 29, 1964, the Antarctic research ship USNS Eltonin took this photo while dragging the camera near the sea floor. Dubbed the Eltonin antenna, it was the center of a debate over its origins. At over 13,000 feet deep, it could not have been a plant. So logically, the next conclusion is that it was an alien artifact and proof of alien presence on Earth. The antenna was identified as a deep-sea carnivorous sea sponge all the way back in a 1971 book, but it took until 2003 when the pages were scanned and put online to finally put the mystery to rest. I can see why that would have... I mean, first of all, this photo just looks like pizza puke, but when you see the shapes and, yeah, it looks like a fucking antenna. It's really weird. I could understand why people would have debated and kind of lost their shit over this. It's weird. Paleodictyon is a trace fossil. I'm probably saying that wrong. A trace fossil, which is a fossil that is not directly of the animal, but of its activity, such as their footprints. Paleodictyon was described in 1850 and is a honeycomb-like structure of interconnected underground tunnels and vertical tubes. While it is unknown what organisms created these patterns, the real mystery started in 1976 when the same exact structure was photographed near the Galapagos Rift, virtually unchanged from the 500-million-year-old Cambrian-era fossils. Burrows were dug up, but no evidence of what created them has been found. The current theories range from worms, sea sponges, to giant protists. Now I have to find out what a protist is. It's a eukaryotic organism that's not an animal, land, plant, or fungus. That explains almost nothing, but I'm fine with that. I'll accept that. Yeah, so that's the sea creatures. I'm gonna say, when it comes to sea creatures, you know, I maybe believe in Bigfoot more than I do some of the sea creatures. Obviously, there's some stuff here like the fossils. Jesus, you really should have paid more attention in school, Vinny. It actually explains everything. You were just not very smart. Oh, chat member. One day, someone will say that to you, and it won't roll off your back, and it's gonna suck. But, thank you. I'll have to do a little bit more research on the protist, the eukaryotic organism that's not an animal, land, plant, or fungus. Here's what I got. I got this image. But yeah, I'm not claiming to be a scientist. I just find strange things to be interesting. Let's keep moving. Strange animals. So, what we have here is a 1996 photograph that's said to depict a kulakamba, a hybrid between a gorilla and a chimp. The supposed hybrid resided at the Yaoundé Zoo in Cameroon and had a wider shaped skull than a chimp with the eyes of a gorilla. Apes strong together. I mean, that's not something I'd want to see in my window. Let's put it that way. I'm pretty sure I saw like a dude that looked like that at the 7-Eleven too. Like just not even that long ago. The Marozi is a type of big cat that lives in Kenya, described as a lion with spots. In 1931, a farmer shot and killed a pair, and this is the pelt of one of them. This was in the Aberdare Mountains at an elevation of over 10,000 feet, and several other sightings also come from nearby tall mountains and plateaus. The Marozi are theorized to be a population of lions that retain their childhood spots as adults. Interesting. The Japanese wolf was declared extinct in 1905, but in 1996, local hunter Hiroshi Yagi captured several photos of this canine while driving in a national park. Some cast doubt on the claim of surviving wolves, saying that it is just a feral dog due to the declaw on its rear foot. However, wild wolves in other places also have a declaw due to prehistoric interbreeding with domestic dogs. Yagi was not discouraged, though, and kept looking for more evidence. In 2018, he managed to capture audio of a howl that was deemed to be nearly identical to the howls of Siberian wolves. Imagine the vindication to, like, believe that a species isn't extinct, and then you start, like, amassing evidence of it. That's nuts. The Griggstown cow was a supposed ghost cow that haunted a few townships in central New Jersey. Okay, I wasn't expecting to hear New Jersey. People would see glimpses of this cow on foggy days, and it became a local urban legend. In 2002, the cow was found lying in a ravine. After being rescued, the cow died 2 days later. Having been over 30 years old at this point, the cow shows how such a large animal can hide from people, even in a populated place like New Jersey. Huh. That's actually very interesting. And that poor cow, too. But, yeah, I guess it is possible to a degree. And Jersey has a lot of woods. Jersey's a very forested state. I mean, there's supposedly a Jersey Devil over in there. I haven't seen it. I mean, aside from the 7-Eleven, but the Shunka Warakan is a wolf-like beast said to live in Montana. It was known to the Native Americans and the early settlers for killing dogs and livestock. One of these animals was shot in 1886 and dubbed ringdokus by the local taxidermist who preserved the body. The animal is notably different from a wolf, has been compared to a hyena, which used to live in America during the Ice Age. As no DNA testing has been done, the explanation is currently unknown. That is a very strangely shaped animal, though. So, yeah. Weird. In 2017, researchers were studying bears in the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia's Far East. There they... oh, wait, sorry. Chat, I screwed up. This is the Shunka Warakan, the wolf-like thing. So I missed one. I'm sorry. I actually did screw up. This one is... It's late. It's almost 1:30, but here. This one is a photo taken in 1964, and it supposedly shows a surviving Tasmanian tiger. These predatory marsupials were declared extinct in 1936 after being killed off by hunters, but there is still a strong belief in their existence in unpopulated places of Australia and surrounding islands. This photo was taken in West Victoria and could show that the Tasmanian tiger survived for at least several decades more than previously claimed. So that's this one. This one is the weird wolf-like beast that's said to live in Montana. Yeah. Okay. Now, this one is in 2017, researchers were studying bears in Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia's Far East. They observed several strange bears and captured this photo. They described the bears as having short hind legs and strange caterpillar-like run. Reports of such a bear have been recorded since the 70s, and it's been theorized to be an undiscovered population of polar bear, a cave bear from the Ice Age, or a hybrid. The researchers themselves think the most likely theory is that it is a population of brown bears that are genetically isolated and more archaic than the rest of their species. I mean, we do live in a world where we discover new species of all kinds of shit, like, pretty frequently. So, you know, there's still a lot of world to discover, weirdly. The Tsavo lions were a pair of male lions who terrorized the Tsavo region of Kenya in 1898. The British were constructing the Ugandan railway at the time, and these lions would attack the workers during the night, coordinating together and killing one person each. After killing a known 30 victims, but potentially as many as 100, they were shot by Lieutenant Colonel John Henry Patterson. The lions had no manes despite being males and are both measured nearly 10 feet long each. Interesting. Okay. What is this creature? Ol Rip was a horned lizard that allegedly hibernated for 31 years with no ill effects. In 1897, a live lizard was put into the Cornerstone time capsule of the Easton, Texas courthouse. In 1928, the courthouse was being rebuilt, and the time capsule was opened in front of a large crowd. The lizard awoke after 20 minutes and then went on a short tour around the United States before his death. The body was displayed in the courthouse, but was stolen in 1961 and held ransom before being found. Wait. Held ransom before being found. This is a wild fucking story. In 1962, the future governor, John Connolly, picked up the body and accidentally broke off one of its legs. In 1972, the body was stolen again, but the recovered body had 4 legs. What? The thief, angry that the town cares so much about a dead lizard, wrote an anonymous letter in 1976 that he still has the original Ol Rip, and that the one in the courthouse is a fake. Holy fuck, what a story! It just keeps turning. It's like a roller coaster. The dancing frog from Looney Tunes is based on this. You can say that, and I'm just gonna believe it. You don't even have to back that up. That's fine. The story's wild, so may as well say that. Sure. How do you... That's crazy. 31 years of hibernation. Why was a live lizard put into a time capsule? That is my first question. So, what were they expecting? Clearly something different happened. But yeah, these are, like I said, new shit is being discovered. We live in a very weird world, even without the need for, like, cryptids and aliens and stuff. There's a lot of strange life on this planet, and there's a lot of weird stories of stuff that happens, kind of like that. So, you know, life in and of itself is interesting without the need for aliens. However, now we have aliens. Okay, I think I know what this is. This is like the Black Knight satellite, yep. Captured by NASA in 1998 during the STS-88 mission. It's been the subject of a conspiracy theory claiming it to be alien technology that may or may not be monitoring our planet. It's probably just a piece of junk space debris. likely the thermal blanket that was confirmed lost during a spacewalk. The game Skies of Arcadia has like a weird satellite in the sky, like all the way up. It's one of the like discoveries. One of the reasons I love that game is there's a bunch of mysteries around the world, and you go around finding them, and it gives you info about them, and it speculates about them, and it's kind of like something like this, for example. Okay. In the upper left is a rare creature that was too fast to be seen by the human eye, only ever captured in photographs or videos. Known as air rods or skyfish, they were first sighted in the 90s all around the world. It was soon revealed that these rods are simply the product of a long exposure camera, elongating the shape of moths or other flying insects. Yeah, I was going to say, so these rods, I remember seeing shows in the 90s even about mysterious rods. And then, you know, I thought it was interesting, but then later, yeah, just long exposure. And it makes sense when you look at it, like, of course, but it's still kind of weird. This one is, the Petrozavodsk. Petrozavodsk phenomenon was an anomalous atmospheric occurrence that has still not been explained. It happened only once in 1977 and was seen all across Europe, from Denmark to Russia. It was described as a spherical rotating object that glowed and moved around in the night sky, lasting around 10 to 15 minutes before disappearing. Despite scientists trying to figure out what it was, no conclusion was ever reached, and the phenomenon never happened again. Just a thing that happened. Oh, that's cool. Just never happened again. Just a weird thing in the sky. It's like, once in a while you read about stuff that like 10,000 people or more saw, and it's just then forgotten about. Or it just never explained. And that's just something that happened. And all 10,000 people were in on the conspiracy. Mental. What is this? The Kentucky meat shower happened on March 3rd, 1876, when small chunks of meat rained from the sky for several minutes. The best theory given for this occurrence is that a flock of vultures vomited up their meals while flying, but eyewitnesses said that there was nothing in the sky. This picture is a chunk of meat that was kept at the Transylvania University. So, never heard about the meat rain. That's another new one for me. Cloudy with a chance of meat rain. Yeah, that's pretty disgusting, actually. Very, very disgusting. This next photo is pretty famous. This was in a book I had growing up. This I've seen on TV shows, everything. This one is fucking weird. May 23rd, 1964, Jim Templeton took a picture of his daughter in Cumberland, England. He was not expecting to see a supposed spaceman in the background of the developed picture. While Templeton was adamant to the end of his life that it was an extraterrestrial figure, it is agreed by most just to be his wife in a dress. Well, damn. Yeah, no, that explains that. That explains that. But there was, I remember seeing this photo, and yeah, I just thought, oh yeah, that's an astronaut, of course. Of course it's an astronaut. Space boy, you're stationary. But again, you know, there's the Mulder quote. I want to believe. This UFO was seen in McMinnville, Oregon, 1950. Is considered to be one of the most famous UFO photos of all time. Investigations conducted by the Air Force and several photo analysts, excuse me, analysts, it's spelled analysts, analysts found that this photo was not tampered with in any way. However, a recent theory states that the UFO is a mirror of a pickup truck hanging from the power lines. Yeah. Yeah. The thing about a lot of these old UFO photos is that they were much more hubcappy than what we see now. Like, a lot of the stuff during the UFO craze, like since Roswell, we'll say, very, distinctly hubcap or saucer. And then later on, as, photography got a little bit better, things got, like, further away and less, like, here's metallic ridges on the side of this quote-unquote object. But yeah, stuff like this could easily be, I mean, I've seen videos on this guy Billy Meyer, and a lot of people would, have a fishing line and do, like, forced perspective, and, there's a lot of ways to fake UFO photos, especially when you have a lower resolution photo. But this one, whoa. Is that an alien fella? In 1987, a retired policeman was walking in Ilkley Moor near West Yorkshire. There he spotted a green figure and took a photograph of it before following it. Brave. While the figure ran away from him, shortly after a flying saucer rose into the sky and flew away. Despite becoming national news, the man wanted his identity hidden from the public and did not make any money from the fame. He underwent hypnotherapy the following year and it was revealed that he was abducted into the saucer, had samples taken of him, shown a film about the dangers of nuclear war, and then released. Okay, weirdly, the part that makes me believe this less is that he was shown a film. I think they went forward in time, got Oppenheimer, and then showed him the film on their projector in the saucer. And then, yeah, hypnotherapy picked up a lot of things that were likely forged. It's possible. I think one of the criticisms of hypnotherapy, and as I get older, the more it makes sense, is leading questions, right? Like, if you go in with the intent of, this is what happened, or if you're with someone who, for example, is a paranormal researcher and they're doing the regression, the hypnotic regression, it wouldn't be too difficult to assume that there's going to be a result that is wanted by one or both parties. So, however, the photo here of this little green fella, I don't know what's going on there, but I like it. Norts, what do you think of it? Oh, he's asleep. Alright. And again, I kind of do believe in UFOs. Like, I think there's some weird shit. But, you gotta kind of view it with a skeptical eye. This is amazing. What's going on here? The small town of Elkton, Michigan was terrorized by alien sightings in 1958. On several nights, a glowing blue figure would be briefly seen by motorists driving by. After a school bus filled with children witnessed the figure, the police got involved and the blue man turned himself in. Turned out it was a prank by 3 young men who recently returned from the military and had some spare time. The blue man was actually a costume that was fashioned from long underwear, a football helmet, Christmas lights, and blue spray paint. But chat, you got to admit, if you saw this, like, in the woods, right? Say you're driving, and you're going kind of fast, and you just looked over in the woods, and you saw blue glowing lights coming out of those eye holes and mouth hole. That would be pretty fucking weird. Oh, I would love it, but it would scare the shit out of me for a little bit, because what would I do? Would I stop and try to take a picture, or would I just, like, book it? I don't know. We probably don't want science for this one. Okay. In 1973, police chief of Falkville, Alabama, received a phone call about a UFO and went out to investigate. While he did not see any UFO, he instead found what he called a metal man. The man was over 6 feet tall and covered in smooth metal suit, had no neck, an antenna on its head, and was described as moving like a monkey or a small child. When the police chief tried to pursue in his vehicle, the man ran away even as the car reached 35 miles per hour. After crashing the car and losing track of the man, the chief would retire from his position. I mean, interesting story. 35 is not like... I was expecting like 80, but no, 35, it's a little fast for a person. If all details in this story are correct, that's really weird. However, when I see this, I just see tinfoil. So... I've seen this before. This one is fucking weird. Okay, this photo was taken by Filiberto Caponi in Italy in 1983. Over the course of a few months, starting in May, he would encounter this strange creature in his neighborhood during the early hours of the day. It made strange noises and ran like an ostrich. It was supposedly deaf, as it did not react to any noises. The creature was also wearing clothes and had tubes running into its body. Capone also said that it was injured, finding bloody gauze occasionally near his house. Despite being seen often, the creature was last sighted on August, never showing up again. David Lynchian monster. It does look like that a little bit. Looks potato-ish. What is going on with that face, though? So, but you have a lot of... I mean, these photos are really interesting, and I think which ones will give me the most nightmares? The meat jar was definitely weird. You know, this dude, it looks like an E.T. Like the E.T. Like a fucked up, burned E.T. Maybe... Here, I'm going to invent a little story. Maybe the Italian government was doing an experiment on an alien fella, right? And they burned it. Maybe there was a crash. And the Italian government was looking for the creature, found it, captured it, creature escaped, and, you know, went into an Italian clothes shop, got himself some clothes, and then found one dude, and only one dude, to hang out with once in a while. Well, whatever happened, that photo is strange, and it does look like a little meat creature, and I hope whatever it is, kind of looks a little happy here. You know, there's like a little smile going on. I don't know. Well, chat, I found this stuff to be very interesting. Thank you, Finger, for creating this pack. You know, I'm trying my best here. I do the thing. It's live. I can't really redo takes, can I? But I like to check out the mysteries of this world. And I'm sure there's a whole lot more, too, that I could do in, you know, future streams, whether they be little videos or pictures, sounds, again. I'm open to receiving and doing a pack like this on a Sunday stream. Honestly, for the sake of variety and for the sake of... I just think it's fun. And we learn. I like that this pack wasn't all definitely is aliens. It, you know, there was definitely a lot of discussion of hoaxes and bullshit and potential explanations. But there were also some just strange photos. So if you, chat member, or Finger, if you want to make another pack for the stream, if there's a chance that you have any ideas for a decent, you know, spooky pack of some kind, that's informational, has a little bit of education to it, and something that might be intriguing for the stream, send it my way. I'm down for the key jingling. I'm down for like all the wacky stuff. But once in a while, I like to do stuff like this too. And especially the older I get, the more I find segments like this to break up the key jingling to be very exciting. So, yeah, I think I have another one of a similar nature for a future stream. So, I'll take a look and see what I have. But yeah, that's the one. That's the pack. Strange cryptids. Chat, that's the stream for the night. Thank you for watching. And I hope it was enjoyable. Chat, you keep the Sunday stream alive with your submissions. And it is very appreciated. And I'm glad that, people still consider this to be something to do on a Sunday evening, Sunday night. And, yeah. Hopefully we'll have more good Sunday streams ahead. And obviously not all of them are going to be commercials or corruptions, but there definitely will be more of those as well. And I have more packs for the Choicer Voicer. So if you saw the highlight video today, that will make a comeback at some point in the future, probably with an updated version as well. So that should be fun. But yeah, again, if you have a Sunday stream idea, I do get a lot of submissions. Keep in mind that there's a lot of times where, I just have a backlog of stuff and there's just too much. And then there's times where a similar pack gets submitted, or I want to do something that's a little less just game after game after game. But open to ideas and definitely appreciate any of the suggestions people give. I love doing this and I'm glad people like it too. I'm repeating myself, so I'm going to go to sleep now. But I'm going to do the Zelda ROM thing during the week. I think people will find that fun. We'll continue Paper Mario, Cave Story, and who knows? Maybe we'll even get Abiotic Factor. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching. Take care and enjoy life. And be good to yourselves and each other.